In this video, I'm going to show you guys step by step my method of taking a GoPro footage and making it less GoPro-ish. Now at first glance, I wasn't very happy with the output from the Hero 5 Black straight out of camera, and this led me to try and get the footage to a more acceptable look or a less GoPro-ish look. Okay, so just a quick side note before getting into the editing software. In the GoPro itself, the settings that I used to achieve this look: number one, you've got to turn on Pro Tune. Number two, keep your ISO at minimum 100 and maximum 400. Number three, I dialed down my exposure by a half a stop to one stop, depending on the conditions outside. If it was a very bright day, I'd go one stop under. If it was a cloudy day, a half a stop under did it for me. And then also, I shot in linear and wide. So to achieve a similar look, you've got to dial in those settings on your GoPro Hero 5, as well as the white balance. A fixed 5500 Kelvin. You don't want it shifting during your takes. So we're in DaVinci Resolve, and I've brought in the clip that we're going to be using as an example into our timeline. First things first, we're going to go to our settings tab over here, and we're going to go down to color management. Under color science, we're going to use DaVinci YRGB color managed. This should be unticked. We're going to untick that, and our color processing mode, we're going to use custom. And then our input color space will be Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. Our timeline color space will be DaVinci Wide Gamma Intermediate and SDR 100. And output color space will be Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. So the reason why I'm choosing DaVinci Wide Gamma Intermediate as my timeline color space is just to work in a wider gamma or wider color space. Instead of a Rec 709 color space, we're working in a much wider color space. And then we're going to save that. And then we're going to go to the color tab. Now I've already added all my nodes here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nodes, and I've labeled them accordingly. My first node would be a correction node. My second node would be a HSV saturation node. Then I've got a prism blur node. I've got a glow look node, and I've got a look node. So I'm going to show you guys quickly what I've done by turning on all these nodes, and I'm going to show you what I've actually done in our log wheels and in all our settings. So if I turn this one on, that is a correction node. So that is before and after. So what we did over here was we brought down the offset in the log wheels to where it looks acceptable. So I kept my highlights in this range over here and my shadows above 0, as you can see over there. And then under my mid-tone detail, I minus 15 on my mid-tone details, which means that just takes an edge off as well, similar to sharpening and de-sharpening. And then under the sharpening tool, I put it at 51. That is a -1 in terms of sharpening. And here we can see the before and the after. That already makes a huge difference, just bringing my exposure down or correcting my exposure. And then under HSV saturation, on this node, you're going to right click and you're going to choose your color space, which would be HSV. Then your gamma would be gamma 2.4, and your channels would be only channel 2. So you're going to turn off channel 1 and you're going to turn off channel 3. And then you're going to turn your gain up till where the image looks saturated enough for you. Now what this does is, I'll leave mine at 135. What this is, it's similar to your saturation, but it doesn't break the image as quickly. It has deeper, tonality in each color. So that's why I prefer this method of saturating my video files. Then we go to the prism blur. I'm going to turn this one on. So all you're going to do is you're going to go to effects, type in prism blur and drag it over to the prism node. Let me just correct this over here. And then once you add it in, your blur strength is going to be way up. As you can see over there, it's going to be way too blurry. You're going to bring it down. I like mine around 27. And then your aberration strength would be somewhere over here as well. You can see what it's going to look like. That's a bit too much over there. And you're going to bring the aberration strength down under 100 somewhere. Let's leave it over there. Let's see what that looks like. It looks fine. You can see the aberrations going over there. If it's too much, you can just turn it more down and then vignette and your vignette sharpness. There you can see what it's doing. So you can choose what's optimal for your image. I'll choose that over there. And if I turn this off, you can see what it looks like with it off. If I turn it on, there we go. And now we've got the glow node. And all you're going to do is the same as the prism. You're going to search for the glow node and the glow effect, and you're going to drop it into this node. And let me turn it on. It's very subtle. We can actually make it more subtle. Let me just turn it off again and on. You guys can see what it looks like. There we go. That looks better. Very slightly. So off and on. You can see on the graph as well what it's doing over there. And then in the glow node, I like to go down to saturation and just increase it slightly. 1.5 should be fine. And now if we turn it off, you can see what it does. So now we're done with the glow node, and now we'll go into our look node. And I'll turn it on. As you guys can see, what I did was here, I just added a bit of, firstly we're going to go to the log wheels, and I pulled down this a bit into the teal and blue, and then your midtones into the yellow and oranges, and then the highlights a bit of yellow and green. And if I turn it off, that's what it looks like. And if I turn it on, that is what you get. And then as well as my temperature slider, just take it up a notch, maybe to 120. So that is now with it off, and that is the final image. So I'm just going to turn off everything so you guys can see what it looks like before and after. And that is the final version, and I'm quite happy with that image. It looks way better than the stock GoPro footage coming straight out of the camera. And this is what I do with all my GoPro footage, more or less. So that's a wrap on this one, guys. If there's any questions, hit the comment section down below. If not subscribing, hit the like button. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out till the next one.